incredible content with your smartphone is probably a lot easier than you might think. And today, I'm gonna bring you behind the scenes of a commercial shoot for a local gym where I'll give you the exact formula of shots and movements that you can use in your next video. And to start, we have the low angle track. The general premise is you either crouch down or you use the extension pole built into your gimbal to get a low angle composition. This is a really unique perspective that most amateur videos don't showcase, so it can really help to elevate your content. Once you've got your composition framed up nicely, you can either move to track with your subject, like this shot here following Freddy's feet, or you can do a subtle push in or pull out to just add a little bit of flair to your video. So one thing when you're filming an angle track, especially a low angle track where you can't actually see the screen, hit that trigger on the back of the gimbal. It's gonna lock the angle exactly where it's at. That way, as you move, as long as you do a relatively good job of keeping your hand positioning the same, you'll keep your subject frame the same as well. That looks sick. All right, 3, 2, 1, go for it. So movement number 2 is the parallax movement, and it is a multi-axis movement because we have 2 different planes of motion. We're rotating the camera around the subject, but at the same time panning the camera in the opposite direction to keep that subject in the center of the frame. What happens here is the foreground and the background are moving really fast, and that contrasts nicely to the subject remaining relatively motionless in the center. Okay, so what we'll do is have you walk in to frame on action, and I'm basically gonna rotate around you, just doing the parallax movement, keeping you center frame. And you'll just literally do the whole thing. So walk in, strap up, grab it, and just start going. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, action. We'll do parallax again. Yep, go for it. Perfect. Sweet. Okay, so important note about that scene you just saw. We obviously start with the parallax movement, but then we keep filming. The purpose of doing that was actually to capture multiple micro moments, as I call them, within one longer filming session, rather than start and stop Freddy like 50 times to capture all these individual movements. At the start, you can see we have a parallax as Freddy sits down on the machine. After that, we readjust and film another few movements, all in the same clip, sometimes focusing on Freddy, other times focusing on smaller details like his shoes and so on. The real magic in creating a video like this comes down to the editing process, sitting down and going through all of your footage to find and clip out the best micro moments of all the footage that you shot. One clip could literally have 4 to 5 great micro moments in it, but we need to dig through and find that gold in the first place. Usually I do this in Premiere Pro by creating 2 separate timelines stacked on top of each other. One has all of the footage, and as I find micro moments I love, I just cut that portion out and upgrade it to the top timeline of selects. This timeline of selects is where I'm going to pull almost all of the content for my final edit from. What we're gonna do here is just a truck, very simple side-to-side movement. It's one of the best movements you can do with a gimbal. But to add another level of depth to it, I always look for elements that we can add to the foreground, creating a very distinct foreground, midground, which is where Freddy is, and then background. It's adding layers really enhances the cinematic look of your video. So very simple movement, Freddy on action. We're gonna have you go, and action. All right, now switch to hang snatch. Sick. Sweet. The original Insta360 Flow was one of the most popular gimbals on planet Earth, and they've upgraded it even more with this new model. The main upgrade that I absolutely love is the native integration with Apple's Dock Kit. What this means is you basically tap your phone to the gimbal, and now in any camera app you open, you will get smart AI tracking. This is great for keeping your subjects in focus, like in today's video where I'm constantly moving around the subject, and it's also incredible for filming videos solo. I can get all my camera settings settings dialed in on Blackmagic camera, put the gimbal down, and it will just naturally track me whenever I'm filming by myself. They also upgraded the pan axis, so now it can track you in a 360-degree fashion infinitely, which is really helpful. And on top of all this, it still has all the incredible features that we've grown to love over the years, like great battery length. It's so small and easy to pack. I love that. It has the extension arm, which is great for those low shots. And it has a built-in tripod, which makes it even more portable, unlike most other gimbals where you need to screw one onto the bottom. All right, so what we're doing right now is a motion track, which is gonna require us to be in action mode. It just basically increases the strength of the motors in the gimbal so you can move faster and it's gonna whip with you. To do that, you double tap on the back trigger, and now you can see the gimbal follows me much faster. Motion track is really key. You're really just focusing on one subject, which here is gonna be the kettlebell. Freddie grabs it, brings it behind his legs, and then snaps it up. Tricky shot to get, but if you can match that motion with your gimbal, it makes for a really cool shot. 3, 2, 1, action. Yep, we nailed it. All right, our next movement is FPV or POV mode. Some people call them different things, but the general premise is the same. We have a mode on our gimbal that we can switch into called FPV or POV. And with that, the gimbal actually unlocks all the axes so that no matter what movement you're doing, it will follow you. This allows for some really unique perspectives in movements, and you're gonna see one that we thought of on set right now. Okay, so what I want to do is start with the gimbal through your arm, and then I'm gonna pull it back as you start drinking to reveal you. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, no review necessary. So our next movement is the barrel roll track. When you throw your gimbal in FPV mode, you have this really cool opportunity to rotate the camera as you film. During this exercise, we have a perfect motion that we can track. So on action, Freddie, I'll have you go down nice and slow. I'm just gonna follow you the entire time. You could rotate the joystick if you wanted to in another mode, but I like to just double tap, hold it in sport mode, and then that will allow me to quickly follow that movement. So let's start and stop recording. All right, and 3, 2, 1, action. More. Oh, one more. All right, I think we got something in my eyeball. I didn't blink, my freaking eyes got so dry there. Now I know what you're probably thinking. That barrel roll shot wasn't all that great. And I agree, I could have done a better job tracking. But I wasn't too worried because in the actual edit, I can do a very simple thing to take our tracking shot from this to this. And right now, I'll walk you through the entire process. Now, I'm gonna be using Premiere Pro for this example, but this really can work in any editing program. You just need to be able to create keyframes for the position parameter. All you do is import your clip, drag it on the timeline, trim it down to just the portion you know you're gonna use. From there, you're gonna search for an effect called transform and drag it onto your clip. Now, to give myself some room to move things around, I'm actually gonna zoom in and reposition the clip slightly by using the scale and position parameters. Here, I'm gonna be tracking Freddie's hands, so that's really the subject that I'm kind of optimizing for. Now, I need to remember this exact spot because that's where I want the actual hand to be throughout the entire shot. To do that, I'm gonna enable the rulers by hitting Command and R. From there, I'm gonna drag the two rulers out and mark this exact spot. Now in the transform effect, all I need to do is create a keyframe on the position parameter and then move throughout the clip and adjust the position, creating new keyframes, moving Freddie's hand to be in that same exact spot throughout the entire clip. Once we've gone through every single frame, I will go down to shutter angle and increase that to 180. It basically just adds a little bit more motion blur to make the movement look natural. And then finally, I'm gonna search for warp stabilization, drag that onto the clip to smooth things out just a little bit more. Overall, it's a process that took me a couple minutes, but it really improved the look of this shot. So our next shot is the top-down push-in, and you could do pull-out, same thing. But one thing you're able to do with gimbals, especially ones like the Insta360 Flow Pro, is you can get it extended and get it out over your subject. Give me a second to do that here. Once you get them framed up, I usually recommend doing this like as symmetrically as possible. It'll just make the composition look much better. Your feet are out of the shot. Normally you'd need like a big C-stand for this. We can say action, and we'll actually do both directions and just choose in the edit which one I like more. We'll start down and then go up, and action. This next movement that we're gonna do is another form of a focus reveal. We're gonna start behind this subject right here, where the actual plate's gonna be in focus. Then on action, I'm gonna slowly do a truck movement, revealing our primary subject, Freddy, and then because we're using an awesome iPhone that has good focus shifting, it'll just naturally lock right onto our subject. 3, 2, 1, action. Lift it. Nice. All right, our next movement is the jib movement. This is really simple, but so many Hollywood directors are constantly using this in their movies and commercials. All you do is you lock onto a composition and you slowly move your camera up or down, depending on what your subject in the shot is doing. And pro tip is to direct your subject, right? All of these movements, they don't make sense unless they're motivated. So here in this shot, I got Freddy to basically move his hands down to grab the kettlebell, the exact same pace that I was doing my jib movement. All right, so on action, we're gonna do a jib shot. I'm just gonna slowly bring the camera down. You're gonna, on action, bring your hands down as well, and I'm just gonna track them to the grab. And I like how you kind of like flexed your hands as you grabbed it, and then go right up into the movement. All right, 3, 2, 1, action. Perfect. Sweet. And there you have it, my friends. Hopefully this behind the scenes style content was really helpful and it will help you improve your content.